Welcome to today's explainer. Look, have you ever wondered why some people literally seem to bend time to their will, while the rest of us just kind of get swept away by the clock? Well, today we're going to fix that. We're diving into some pretty profound teachings rooted in Napoleon Hill's philosophy. We're going to build a concrete daily blueprint to take you from just passively reacting to the day to actually creating your time. We're talking time blocking, laser focus, and a few massive mindset shifts to help you truly reclaim your day. Let's get right into it. So here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, the wake-up call. Second, the 80-20 prioritization. Third, time blocking and focus. And finally, number 4, mindset and legacy.
All right, section 1, the wake-up call. Why we waste our most precious asset.
You see, the foundational problem we all face is that we treat time like water from a tap, right? Like it's just this infinite resource. But spoiler alert, it is strictly limited. 86,400. That's the magic number. Every single morning, your account is credited with exactly 86,400 seconds. And when night falls, whatever you haven't used just vanishes. There's no rollover, no refunds, absolutely no savings account for time. So what are you actually doing with those seconds? If your honest answer is nothing special, well, consider this your alarm bell. You just can't protect what you don't actually value.
And this brings us to a really stark contrast in how people actually operate. You've got the reactor. This person wakes up and just lets the day happen to them. You know the feeling, putting out fires, getting totally swept away by everyone else's priorities. But then you have the creator. The creator takes charge. Think about historical figures like Thomas Edison. The guy worked 18-hour days without burning out because he was a creator. He knew that every single hour is essentially a seed. And if you plant that seed in the right soil, eventually the whole world is going to sit in its shade.
Now that naturally leads us to a real modern disease, the illusion of busyness. We've all met those people who wear their busyness like it's some sort of badge of honor, right? Like, oh, I'm just so busy. But here's the truth. Being busy is just running on a giant, exhausting treadmill. You're sweating, you're tired, but you literally haven't moved an inch forward. Being effective, on the other hand, means taking action with a clear direction. It's what Napoleon Hill called a definiteness of purpose. Action without direction just gives you fatigue, but action tied to a true purpose, that's what gives you unstoppable momentum.
Moving on to section 2, the 80-20 prioritization, working smarter, not harder. To make sure our actions actually have that direction we just talked about, we need to lean heavily on the Pareto principle. Titans of industry, guys like Andrew Carnegie or Henry Ford, they didn't try to do everything. No way. They focused ruthlessly on the 20% of priority tasks that drove 80% of their success. The other 80% of tasks, honestly, that's mostly just noise. It's the busyness we were just talking about. You have to figure out what your specific 20% is. Maybe it's focused study, maybe it's building one key relationship, but whatever it is, you need to pour your energy right there. All right, section 3, time blocking and focus, guarding your attention and structuring your day. So to actually protect the time for that crucial 20%, you've got to face the biggest obstacle head on: digital distraction. It leads to what we call attention fragmentation. Let's do some quick, honestly kind of scary time audit math here. If you spend just 2 hours a day scrolling on your phone, that adds up to over 730 hours a year. That is more than 30 full days. Literally, an entire month gone every single year just staring at a screen. Listen, if you don't take control of your time, I promise you, an app is going to do it for you. Which is why this quote hits the nail right on the head. Concentration of effort is the key to success. You've got to guard your attention like a soldier guarding a VIP door, especially during your most important work blocks. When you sit down to do deep work, that phone needs to go in another room. Notifications, off, completely. You need one focus and one direction. Because if your attention is getting fractured every 5 minutes by a ping or a buzz, you simply cannot produce great work. It's just not possible. Okay, so here is how you practically build this into your actual day using energy zones. In the morning, you are in the deep work zone. Your brain is at its sharpest, so absolutely no phones, no social media. Dedicate this block entirely to your biggest goal. Then, in the afternoon, as your natural energy kind of shifts, you handle your routine and meetings, emails, calls, the admin stuff. Evening, that's your zone for learning and growth, maybe reading, hitting the gym, or spending time with family. And finally, night is for reflection and rest. Having this kind of structure, it completely eliminates decision fatigue because you already know exactly what you should be doing and when.
I actually want to zoom in on that night zone for a second because it's incredibly powerful. Right before you go to sleep, I want you to ask yourself these three simple questions. Number one, what brought me closer to my goal today? Two, where did I waste time? And three, how can I improve tomorrow? Now, this isn't just about accountability, though that's great. This is actually about programming your subconscious mind. By feeding your brain these questions right before sleep, it literally works on the answers overnight, so you wake up with sharper focus and a ton of momentum ready for the next day.
Which brings us to our final section. Section 4, Mindset and Legacy. Transforming daily habits into lifelong success.
Look, sticking to a schedule like this long term requires a real internal shift. And that starts the absolute second you open your eyes. Practicing morning gratitude for those 86,400 brand new seconds treats your time as the sacred gift it is. It naturally shifts your subconscious away from that panicky scarcity mindset, the I never have enough time feeling, over to an abundance mindset. And we really need to reframe how we view discipline too. People tend to think a strict schedule is a straitjacket, but actually, scratch that. Discipline is true freedom. When your day is structured, your mind isn't constantly burdened with making choices. It's finally free to just create.
Of course, the biggest trap we all fall into is thinking, oh, I'll start this new schedule tomorrow, or I'll do it when things finally settle down at work. But as this quote so perfectly reminds us, don't wait. The time will never be just right. Guys, the perfect moment is a complete illusion. You don't just sit around waiting for the right time. You have to actively create it. Starting right now, even if it's just with a small, messy, imperfect step, builds unstoppable momentum. Think about it. The person who commits to reading just 1 hour a day and actually starts today is going to be an entirely different human being a year from now. So I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. If tomorrow were the last day of your life, how would you live today? Seriously. Would you spend it mindlessly scrolling on your phone? Would you spend it hustling to build someone else's dream? Or would you finally focus on what is truly, deeply meaningful to you? Remember, every single minute is a seed. If you plant it right, it grows into a legacy that outlasts you. So tonight, when your head hits that pillow, ask yourself what you actually created with your time today. And tomorrow morning, when those 86,400 seconds reset, step up, take charge, and start building your legacy.